I'm Nick Brooks, a California employment law attorney. Are you paying overtime correctly? Even if employees agree to a lower rate, you still face massive liability for unpaid overtime. Today, I'm breaking down Labor Code Section 1194, California's overtime pay requirements, how employees prove claims, and how employers can stay compliant and avoid costly wage lawsuits. California employers must pay overtime wages to eligible employees for all hours worked beyond regular daily or weekly limits. Failure to pay the correct overtime rate, even if the employee agrees to a lower rate, can result in significant liability, penalties, and lawsuits under Labor Code Section 1194. To prove non-payment of overtime, employees must demonstrate 5 things. First, work was performed for the employer. Second, the employee worked overtime hours under state law. Third, the employer knew or should have known about the overtime hours. Fourth, the employee was unpaid or underpaid for those hours. Fifth, the amount of overtime pay owed. California's overtime law covers hours over 8 in a workday or 40 in a work week under Labor Code Sections 510 and 515D. The legal overtime rate is generally 1.5 times the regular rate of pay for hours over 8 in a workday or over 40 in a work week, and 2 times the regular pay for hours beyond 12 in a day. This is important. Bonuses, commissions, and some allowances affect the overtime rate calculation. You must include these when calculating the regular rate. Certain roles, like outside salespersons or bona fide executives, are exempt from overtime rules, but it's the employer's affirmative burden to prove any exemption. Here's a critical rule. Overtime pay is required if the employer knew or should have known about the extra hours worked. You cannot avoid liability just because the employees did not get express approval. Employers face serious consequences for overtime violations. Unpaid overtime wages, liquidated damages, and civil penalties under Labor Code Sections 1194 and 1194.2. Accurate timekeeping and prompt payment in compliance with wage orders are essential. Here's how California employers stay compliant. First, track all hours worked by non-exempt employees, including overtime and off-the-clock work. Review overtime calculations, especially when incentives or bonuses are involved. Understand and correctly apply relevant exemptions and retain supporting documentation. And address overtime claims quickly to reduce exposure to penalties or litigation. California law strictly enforces overtime wage requirements for eligible employees. Business owners must proactively comply with record keeping, pay calculations, and exemption rules to minimize risks. For more information about this legal issue, please visit my blog at nickbrooksesq.com. That's nickbrooksesq.com. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more California employment law tips. Thank you very much.